Welcome to this issue of Retirement Crusaders, and I want to tell you where to never get advice about Social Security, and at the end I'll explain where to get the best possible advice about getting the largest Social Security payment. Now, as a quick background, most people have an incorrect idea that the amount you get from Social Security is a fixed number. That is wrong. The number you get, the amount you get from Social Security is based on how you claim your benefit. For example, whether you claim it at age 62 or claim it at age 65, whether you claim it based on your spouse's earnings record or your own earnings record, whether you're divorced and you claim it based on your ex-spouse's earnings record or your own earning record. So there's many decisions, things you need to know in order to get the biggest monthly check. It is not automatic. And that's what we want to cover in this video. How you find advice, where you get advice so that you'll get the best possible check. Now, the worst possible place to go for Social Security advice is the Social Security Administration. Now, you would think they would give you the best advice. Wrong. This is not an opinion. This is fact. So there's an agency of the U.S. government called the Government Accounting Office, and they audit other agencies. They audited the Social Security Administration, and I'm going to show you what they found. Now, the issue of claiming the largest monthly lifetime income encompasses your life expectancy, your other financial resources, whether you have earned income, your current and future tax bracket, which, by the way, 2% of people surveyed did not know that Social Security benefits could be taxed, and how much you can earn on your investments. Because if you can earn higher amounts on your investment, it would argue to take Social Security earlier. And if you're somebody who just puts their money in the bank, that would actually argue to take your Social Security benefits later. So, not to get in those complications right now, but when you look at this slide of all the factors that go into when to claim Social Security benefits, do you think some government paid clerk is able to ask about all these things and understand them to give you the best advice? No, because claiming Social Security benefits is not a question you can ask the Social Security Administration. It has to do with your overall financial situation. Now, this will sound strange, but you are unprepared to even ask the right questions. See, asking the right questions about anything assumes that you already have a certain level of knowledge. But if you don't know the right questions to ask. And the last people to tell you to ask the right questions are the people at the Social Security Administration. Now, the Government Accounting Office found that people are woefully ignorant about how Social Security works. That's the problem. That's why you're not prepared to ask the right questions. Now, for example, while some people understand that delaying claiming their benefits leads to a higher monthly benefit, many were unclear about the actual amount that the benefits actually increase as they delay claiming, which, by the way, as a rule of thumb, is about 8% a year. So if you don't claim at age 62 and wait till 63, you can expect about 8% more the next year. If you delay another year, you can expect your check to be about 8% higher. I say about because it's based on the year you were born. Now, the Government Accounting Office says there's widespread misunderstanding about whether spousal benefits are available, how those monthly benefits are determined, and how the retirement earnings test works. Now, we're going to look at some of these issues in a minute, but here's the point. If you're married, when to claim Social Security benefits becomes infinitely more complex because your benefits are tied together with another person, and when they claim impacts you, and that's why it's more complex, and you need to be much more knowledgeable if you were to go down to the Social Security Administration to start your benefits, because you wouldn't even know what to ask and they wouldn't even know what to tell you. Now, the Government Accounting Office observed 30 in-person claims at the Social Security Administration. So they went actually to the field offices and sat there while people came in and asked questions to the Social Security clerk that they were speaking to. And they found that the claimants were not consistently provided key information that people may need to make well-informed decisions. So, what did the Government Accounting Office find? In 8 of the 26 claims interviews in which the claimant could have received higher monthly benefits by waiting until a later age, the claims specialist did not discuss the advantages and disadvantages of delaying claiming. In other words, the most very basic issue in Social Security is delaying the claiming date, your age, instead of 62, 65, instead of 65, 68. That's the most basic decision in claiming Social Security, and the person at the administration giving the advice didn't even mention it. Now, this is quite interesting. Lower income individuals have shorter than average life expectancy, which means that on average, they can expect to receive Social Security benefits for substantially fewer years than higher income individuals who have longer than average life expectancy. Now, do you think that the person at the Social Security Administration will look at your income and say, you know what, you're a lower income person, you should claim benefits earlier because statistically, you have a shorter life expectancy? I don't think they'll ever say that to anybody because I think they're clueless to this particular fact, which is a critical fact, and somebody would need to know this. Now, I'm going to explain in a few minutes where you can get intelligent, well thought out, well trained advice. Now, if you find this type of information useful and valuable, please subscribe below, hit the subscribe button, and then the little bell icon so each time we post a new video, you will get notified. Also, in the description below, there's a link to our Facebook group if you'd like to join in discussions with other people in your age group, say age 55 plus. And also there's a link to 10 different retirement booklets that we offer totally free. Click, find the booklet that might be of interest to you or booklets and enjoy them. What else did the Government Accounting Office find? Well, only 7 of the 18 claimants for whom the retirement earnings test could potentially apply were given complete information about how the test worked. Let's take a look at the retirement earnings test. What are they talking about? Well, here's the issue. As you see on the left, if you're working and you're below your full retirement age, you see that Social Security Administration deducts $1 from your Social Security benefit for every $2 you earn above the annual limit. So in 2023, that limit is $21,240. So if you earn above that limit, for each $2 you earn above the limit, they'll withhold $1 benefit. Now, at first you might think, well, that's terrible. But the Social Security Administrator will tell you, no problem, you don't lose it. You're going to get it back once you pass full retirement age. Well, that's true, but it's still not a great answer. Because on the right side, here's what you see. Let's say that somebody's Social Security benefit were $1,000 a month. And they were working, so they had too much income. And so instead of getting the $1,000, you see that for the first few years of their claiming their Social Security benefits while they were working, they didn't get $1,000, they got $665. Now, what happens after they reach their full retirement age? Yes, they do get the money repaid to them, but how is it repaid? Well, as it says here, that amount that was taken back because you were earning too much is then repaid to you over your lifetime. So you have to live long enough to get it back, which simply means this. You should never bump up against the earnings test. If you know you're going to earn more than $21,240 a year, don't file for Social Security. It's a dumb thing to do. Wait until your full retirement age, because then you could earn $1 million a year. It doesn't matter how much you earn, you get your full benefits. What else does the Government Accounting Office say? The problems we observed during the claims interviews occurred in part because the questions included in the claims process did not specifically cover some key information. As I said to you before, if you don't even know the right questions to ask, you are in a minefield because you won't get the right advice because you're not asking the right questions. That's the problem with talking to somebody who's not well educated and who's not focused on advising you, nor knowledgeable on advising you. Online applicants have more access to key information on the screen or through tabs and pop-up boxes as they complete an application. In other words, the government accounting office has said you're better off just going online and reading what's there when it comes time to claim your benefits than going down to the Social Security office and talking to somebody. Doing it yourself is a better avenue than actually talking to somebody that you think would give you more information or more advice. Not so. Realize that the people at the Social Security Administration, they can't possibly give you advice on your situation. Why? Let's take an example. For some people, it may be smart to live on IRA withdrawals or a deferred compensation plan for 2 years and delay their Social Security benefit and get 16% more when they can start their benefits in 2 years. Now, does the person at the Social Security Administration know if you have a deferred comp plan? Do they know that you have an IRA and can take withdrawals? No, they don't know anything about your financial situation. That's why don't expect them to give you good advice because they don't know your whole picture. And taking Social Security, claiming the benefits, is a function of your entire financial situation, not just going down to the office and saying, how much do I get? Now, if you find this type of information useful and valuable, please subscribe below, hit the subscribe button, and then the little bell icon so each time we post a new video, you will get notified. Also, in the description below, there's a link to our Facebook group if you'd like to join in discussions with other people in your age group, say age 55 plus. And also there's a link to 10 different retirement booklets that we offer totally free. Click, find the booklet that might be of interest to you or booklets and enjoy them. My advice, consult an expert. Where do you find an expert? Well, the first thing you could do is if you have a financial advisor, ask him this question straight up. Do you consider yourself an expert in Social Security claiming strategies? That's the question. Now, if he hesitates and doesn't immediately say yes, he's not an expert. Most financial advisors are not experts in this area. Some have self-studied. They've actually gone, read some books, took some courses, actually educated themselves and can say, yes, I am an expert. Now, there are some people who have gotten formal training. Who are those people? Well, there's something called the National Association of Registered Social Security Analysts. These are people that actually went and took a course. They got trained by experts. So these people have expert training in advising you on Social Security. How do you find them? You go to that website, narssa.org. Now there's a second organization that does the same thing, the National Social Security Advisor Certificate. This organization, again, trains financial advisors who have sought out this specialized training to give you expert advice. Where do you go? PremierNSSA.com. And on both of those websites, you can click, it'll say find an advisor, and you can find a specialist in your area. What else can you do? If you're a do-it-yourself person, great. There is 2 very, very good programs you can avail yourself of. The first one on this page, I think, is $40 a year. Of course, you only need to really run the numbers once. Maybe if you're married, you may need to use it again a second time, pay another $40. But this software, you just put in your information about your personal situation, your income, your tax bracket, etc., and it will analyze and then give you the best calculation as to when to start Social Security, And if you're married, for you and your spouse, the second link on this page is another piece of software. I think it's a little more expensive to use. You can check it out. I don't know the differences. I'm not an expert in Social Security claiming software, but those are at least two programs you can use. And you will, I promise you, get much better advice than asking the person at the Social Security Administration. The only time you should contact the Social Security Administration, when, is if you have a technical problem. Oh, I lost my Social Security card. Oh, I didn't get my check for February. Don't ask them advice, just ask them for assistance with something clerical or technical, but not for advice. See you next time on Retirement Crusaders.